All right, Mark, I love it when you do the countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I just wanna see you win. 5 seconds on the game clock. All your family all in the stands. I'm your number one fan. 5 seconds on the game clock. Shoot your shot, it's going in. Yeah. I know she wanna drive a Benz.
Yo, what up, man? It's Awthentik, man. One half of Awthentik in the Beard. Definitely looking forward to catching up with the homies, Mark and Jay. We're going to be chopping it up, talking music, movies, podcasting, and everything Awthentik, man. So make sure y'all tune in. I'll catch y'all soon. Peace.
Does he look like a bitch?
Mark, can you believe we are closing in on our 1-year anniversary?
Man, it feels like it was literally a week ago when we started this thing.
So that being said,
we're gonna do a watch party for one of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction. And who better to do that with than our friends at Real Talk, a movie podcast. So joining us is gonna be Gabe Conway, Wesley Jones, and Tommy Wood.
be there, honey bunny. Thursday, June 17th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central.
Finish him. Kuhl wins. Fatality. Flawless victory. Prepare to die.
Yes, this is Jay St. G here, and yes, we are excited to welcome back Anthony Marquez, the original Kung Lao. Be sure to pick up his book, Kung Fu Rockstar. Links in the description below.
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in the NerdCage with your hosts Mark and Jay. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello and welcome. That's right, you're trapped in NerdCage Live. This ain't just a reaction show, but a debate show and a live discussion on everything that makes people like you and I tick. So thank you once again for joining us tonight. Please hit that like button and subscribe. I'm your co-host Jay St. G, certified geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from Syracuse, New York. And always with me, the warrior from Wakanda, the fiend from Louisville. My man, Mark Withers, introduced this fine gentleman who's graced the cage once again tonight.
That's right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Super excited to be here as usual. And yes, he's back, ladies and gentlemen, for round 2. We had so much fun chopping it up with him a few weeks ago that we had to bring him back. We got way more to talk about this week. Please welcome Kush from the Hub. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, shout out to you guys. I had a blast last time. NerdCage Live is awesome. I do be watching y'all movie reviews and whatnot every now and again. Of course, Jay, great support of my channel. I enjoy what you guys do over here. I think I said it last time as well. It's always been part of my quote-unquote YouTube dream to have something like this. But if I could just hop on y'all and do it, I'm completely fine with that. And as both of y'all and the viewers might know, I'm not in my usual setup right now. Both in terms of microphone, I'm now working from my laptop, which is why the camera looks a bit off. But hopefully nothing goes wrong. Honestly,
hey, you look and sound great, man.
I was gonna say the only thing I'm praying that stays good is the Wi-Fi, because that's the most important thing. I'm at my friend's house right now. I have no idea how the Wi-Fi is gonna go, but let's hope it goes good.
Worst case scenario, if we get booted out, we'll stick around. We'll wait for you if something goes wrong. Hey, so let's welcome the NerdCage Warriors. We got Scott Bannick's in the chat. Fallen One Gaming, our moderator. You F around, he'll swing the hammer and boot you out. And of course, we have Logan's Giants Zone is here. Giants Nation's in full force. Brian Kingsley's here, and our boy Shay Smithers is here. Everybody, thank you for so much hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it as always. So, Kush, real quick, man, let's just get the elephant out of the room. I attended your stream last night, and I was just as heartbroken as you, man.
Man, listen, I was heartbroken, but it's like I kind of came to terms with it before it even happened. I think around Game 3 in Atlanta. So Game 3, when Atlanta went up 2-1, I think was when I resigned myself to realizing they're taking this series. Just because of the way they won Game 3, I think it was a blowout. And it's just the team didn't look like they were there. Yeah. And I'm going to say what I said last night. Am I disappointed 100%, heartbroken 100%? But at the end of the day, we weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs, and the Knicks literally outperformed expectations. So it was a good season, but they definitely have a lot to work on if they want to move forward with the team.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I think you and I were kind of leading that charge. Like, come on, Knicks all the way. Right. I mean, I'm not gonna say, well, I hope the Knicks go far. Like, I hope the Knicks, do their. I was like full force, like Knicks all the way. I was in all the way, but you know what? It is what it is. I came to terms, and when the middle, I think probably like the third quarter, I came to terms and just realized the Knicks were just not good enough this year to make a deep run. Yeah. So maybe if we get a few key players, Dame, next year, I think the Knicks
need to trade for him, man.
I think we're one superstar away from making a run.
Listen, man, we gotta send our 2 first-round picks, Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin, even though I love Obi Toppin.
No. Obi Toppin needs to stay. If we can get Obi Toppin to stay.
For Dame, I'm giving up Obi Toppin for Dame, bro.
All right, I can understand. I mean, I really hope, I'd Dame or Kawhi. I'd rather get Dame. I think Dame.
Really, out of the two? Well, you could get Kawhi in free agency for longer.
Yeah. So.
What up? What up? Oh, are you popping in the stream? Yeah. Okay. Can you put on the light? My friend is here. Because I told him about you guys, and I said, I mentioned big Wu-Tang fan and whatnot. CC Ame, once he puts on the light and pops in, he's just a big music dude as well, so awesome. He might join us.
Cool. Sounds good. The more the merrier. So yeah, I was saying, I was just as heartbroken as you, so now I've come to terms. I'm moving on. I'll probably still watch the basketball playoffs, but it just ain't the same.
Listen, man, I'm rooting for Luka and the Mavs at this point. I absolutely love what they're doing, man.
I want to see in the East. I want to see Milwaukee because
I want to see them destroy the Nets. I'll tell you that.
Giannis is the man. I like to see him do. And then on the West, I'm pulling for CP3. Like the Phoenix Suns, they're about to take care of your boy LeBron, and I'm hoping CP3.
I don't know why you hating so much, man. That's all I gotta say.
I don't need to explain myself. So
how you gonna sit, bro? So this is Cece.
What's up, man?
Can y'all hear him?
You're live on NerdCage Live, man.
Yeah, I can't hear him too.
I mean, cause it's on the. Go ahead, bro. Say hi. Say what's up.
Yo, what up? You already know
what's going on, man.
This is your Oh, this is PG, right? This is PG, dang. It's your boy CC. What's good, bro?
Yo, is he a Giants fan too?
CC. Well, he doesn't really watch footballs, but he's a default Giants fan.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
Fan?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, you don't really watch any sports, to be honest.
That's true.
Yeah, he's just a default Giants and Knicks fan, I guess.
I'll take it.
To be honest.
And just real quick, let's welcome Norton's Chin in the chat and Classified Joel's in the chat. So
Joel, let's go. What's up, man?
Yeah, Giants fans are in full force, man. All right. So
what topic we open up with tonight, man?
All right. So we can all get involved in this one here. So Kush, I want to hear your thoughts because you're a big comic guy. Last week we got the news that Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was mainly known for his roles in Kick-Ass, Godzilla 2014, and of course briefly
Love Kick-Ass, man.
He was Quicksilver in the MCU. he's going to be Kraven the Hunter and the so-called Spideyverse over at Sony. So what are your thoughts on that? I want to get your opinion. And then Mark,
so then is it finally confirmed that there's going to be a Spider-Verse then? Because there's been a whole lot of speculation about No Way Home, which I absolutely love if they're going to involve Toby and Andrew somehow and make a real Spideyverse. But has there been a confirmation on that?
There's nothing like really set in stone, but the head of Sony actually did a press conference a few days ago, and he kind of hinted at the possibility, at the very real possibility, that the MCU and the Venomverse will be sort of colliding at some point very soon. He kind of threw a couple hints.
So where's the Venomverse? Is the Venomverse involved with any of the two? Well, if it would be any of the two, it would be Andrew Garfield, I'm guessing, because we had Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Well, what I'm referring to are like the two Venom movies, Morbius, like everything that Sony owns as an IP. They're basically creating their own universe of antiheroes. So it'll be Venom, Carnage, Morbius, now Kraven.
Very, very similar to what they were trying to do when they were trying to make the Sinister Six movie.
Correct.
Was the Spider-Man?
Yeah, right. They're taking another run at that, actually.
Not to get too off topic here, but stuff like that always makes me wonders about like what studios and studio heads are thinking. It's like they clearly wanted to do something if they're pursuing it in a different form right now, so why not just move ahead with it? Personally, I never got the reason why the Amazing Spider-Man movies got basically, canned. I wasn't a big fan of them, but at the same time, I was like, they were good movies. And I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 got a lot more hate than it deserved. Like people say it's the worst Spider-Man movie ever, and I mean, I don't know. For me, it's definitely between that and Spider-Man 3. But at the same time, it's like, I don't hate them. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is I never got why Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was canned. I don't think it was like a fair reason. But I'm not exactly complaining because we got, Tom Holland out of it. And now we might be getting the Spideyverse. But the fact that they're still trying to do this thing, it just makes me think, all right, then you should have never canceled Andrew Garfield and his thing, man. You should have just continued with it there because you're trying to do it now anyway.
Yeah, there were different heads at Sony at the time, and I don't know. I mean, there's nothing official that's ever come out, but just sort of reading like sort of behind the scenes, like reports and stuff, that something happened between Andrew Garfield and one of the heads at Sony, and he basically alienated them, like whether he meant to do that or not, and that was one of the reasons why they decided not to go forward. Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, I put a little bit of stock in that, but not like 100% because, I think that it doesn't make sense if you have like two successful films. Like say what you will about Amazing Spider-Man 2.
They made money.
Yeah, both of those movies made a ton of money. They could have easily bounced back with a third Spider-Man movie.
And to add on to the money part, they say that Amazing Spider-Man 2 didn't make as much money as it should, and I feel like a lot of people forgot. The movie was leaked like a week before it came out.
Exactly.
So that's a big reason why it didn't make that much money, because a good amount of people just went and watched the pirated leak.
Right. I mean, my thought is that they probably had plans to license this out to the MCU like well before we had ever heard anything. And so it just happened that we had this confluence of events where Andrew Garfield kind of makes enemies with some execs at Sony. And then, the leaked film and then the leaked emails, right? That, that got Sony into some hot water around that same time, sort of a confluence of events. I don't think that they're necessarily related to each other, but who knows? I mean, yeah, exactly. So,
and I kind of agree, getting back to the original thing, which was the Kraven casting, what Shay is saying. He's very mixed on the casting choice. I would have preferred somebody older like Gerard Butler for Kraven.
Yes.
So the reason I'm mixed on it is because, one, I want to see how they deal with it since it's looking like we're converging on a Spideyverse, because obviously it's going to come up like, oh my God, that Kraven dude looks just like my brother, for Wanda and whatnot.
Right.
So there's that, but then there's also like, Kraven's kind of an older character. You know what I mean?
He's always been an older grizzled, because I grew up with the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, and the way they depicted Kraven the Hunter, he was in his 40s.
Even recent Spider-Man animated stuff had him like an older guy.
My pick would be Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Would have been perfect, in my opinion.
That would have been my first choice too. I agree. I just wanted to touch on that Kraven age thing. So, one thing that we don't know yet is whether or not this is an origin story for Kraven. And if it is, then it kind of does make sense that they would go a little bit younger. Aaron Taylor Johnson's in his 30s. Kraven in the comics is a couple hundred years old.
Yeah, I was about to say, he's not 30. He definitely
yeah,
not 30.
so like part of his deal is that he takes a potion that gives him superhuman strength, and it also slows the aging process down for him. So if they're doing like an origin story of sorts, and they start like in the early 1900s or the 1920s, when Kraven like first starts becoming established, when he meets Calypso and he starts to gain his abilities, it would make sense he would be younger. And if they're going to do a series of films, they want to leave room for, whoever they pick as an actor to age naturally and, have room to do all of that. So to me, the casting does make sense, but we won't really know anything until we know a little bit more about the plot and what.
And real quick on that last point, Mark, like I was talking about how I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man movies were never given a fair shot. This man, Aaron Taylor Johnson, was just never given a fair shot, bro, with Quicksilver.
Right.
They literally killed him before he could do anything. So I like the fact that he's getting another, role, so to speak. And also, I am just a fan of him, and I won't lie. It's mostly because I am absolutely a huge fan of the Kick-Ass movies.
Yeah, same here.
And I really wanted a Kick-Ass 3, which is never going to come out at this point. They've all gotten way too old for it. And I was just like, like when he was casted as Quicksilver back then, I was excited. Obviously, I was kind of disappointed with how he did, but that's not necessarily on him. But still, I like the fact that he's getting another shot.
But Kush, remember, we had two Quicksilvers at the same time. We had
I do remember
Peters,
that, and obviously,
and
X-Men
Evan
Quicksilver
Peters
is way
was
superior.
better, in my opinion.
He's way superior. I'm not denying that. He is my favorite Quicksilver, hands down, 100%. But I'm just saying, I mean, you could have a superior and inferior one existing at the same time. Like, there's no problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and my skepticism it wasn't just Quicksilver, but he was god-awful in Godzilla 2014.
I'll tell you that, yeah. He was definitely not good at all in Godzilla, man.
Yeah.
But then again, like, it's like I'm looking at it, I'm like, the lines he were given were also trash. Like, Godzilla 2014 as a movie, let's not pretend like it was a great movie or anything.
It wasn't. I don't like it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will give him this. He was Kick-Ass is a fantastic, I like both of them, but the first one's the best one. So
the first one is great.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can prove us wrong, but also at the same time, I also have my skepticism of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, because it does look a little campy.
Can I share my thoughts on the whole Venom thing?
Yes,
real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with Venom and like how you guys were saying earlier, trying to build their whole anti-hero thing, and I think I don't know if I said this on your last stream with Cruella. Did I talk about Cruella on your last stream?
No,
I don't think we talked about Cruella.
Go ahead,
no.
All right.
Go ahead,
So this might have been just to my friends on a rant. This is PG, right?
It don't matter. You're good.
You can cuss on it. Yeah,
it's been over 18 minutes.
I absolutely fucking hate the fact that every single movie studio is trying to make every single villain that ever existed an anti-hero. It's like you're seeing it with literally everything, bro. You're seeing it with the comics. You're seeing with Disney, with Cruella and stuff like that. Where like, just quick rant on Cruella. Bro, she's a batshit crazy person. She's not an anti-hero. She goes out there, she kills dogs, she skins dogs. Her name is literally Cruella de Vil. Cruel devil. There is no need for no type of anti-villain, anti-hero, origin story type shit. And then I watched the trailer, and I'm like, yo, this is giving me straight Joker vibes, and where like she was put down by society. I'm like, nah. Sometimes villains are just evil, bro, and like that's just how they are. You know what I'm saying? They did it with Maleficent, but I'll say this, bro. I love Maleficent. That was a great job, all right? So no.
Yeah, I agree.
But I feel like because of that one success, they're trying to do with everybody. And now with Venom, but the thing is, we knew from the beginning, because it was a Venom solo movie, going back all the way to when the Venom solo movie was announced, I think everybody knew it was going to be an anti-hero type story, because I don't think any movie studio is really going to take a chance on actually telling a villain story, if that makes sense. And Venom, the movie it was alright, it was okay, but it's like, I am still tired of them trying to make him into an anti-hero. So like a Venom I know is just, man goes around eating people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's sneaking around parks, destroying things, like just being all around evil dude, like, you know what I mean? So I really I'm not a fan of every movie studio. So it's bigger than Venom, just trying to take every villain and make them into an anti-hero that we need to cheer for. And I'm like, good villains can sometimes just good villains, you know, they're just evil, man. Like, come on.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. Now, as far as Venom, like as far as my opinion of Venom, I hated the first movie. I hated everything about it.
Bro, obviously, it was Like, it was
terrible. 10 minutes in, I was like, I was not, I had checked out of it mentally. I just really, because the thing is, like, there's something to be said about the villain story, right? Like, every good villain doesn't know that he's the villain. Right? He's still doing bad stuff, but he doesn't know that he's the villain. And why not tell the story from that point of view? Have Venom do things that like we would expect Venom to do as
Mark, you know what's crazy?
As a rogue.
You know what's crazy? It's crazy for me to say this, and I'm not necessarily from the chat, but if this gets circulated on the internet, definitely on Twitter, I'm gonna get a lot of hate if I say this. My guy from That 70s Show played a better Venom than Tom Hardy, in my opinion. When it comes to actually being who Venom is, bro. Like, that was an evil Venom. That man was actually scary, too. In some scenes, the Venom from the movie was scary, but, like, I was scared of that man crawling on the wall, smiling, his tongue coming. Like, he was about to eat me, bro. I'm not terrified of this Venom, because they didn't make him into a joke, but they made him friendly. I'm just like, he's not friendly.
Made him lovable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Going back to Spider-Man 3, I'll take it a step further, and I probably will get laughed off of this channel for saying this, but I think that Topher Grace and Thomas Hayden Church should have switched roles. Like, I think that he would have been a way better Eddie Brock, like than Topher Grace. I don't know what they were thinking.
The one I know is also kind of buffed.
Exactly.
He's a bodybuilder. So
exactly, and in some of the animated Spidey series I've seen, like one of them had him as an astronaut. I think, like he was always a big built dude, and I was like, Topher's small, man.
Yeah, and he didn't even work him out or anything. But also, don't forget, it was Sony that kind of forced Venom into Spider-Man 3 when Sam Raimi. Shout out to Sam Raimi.
I know that.
Sam Raimi just wanted Sandman and wanted Venom for Part 4. Is what he
Sam Raimi, this man had a vision, bro, and like Sony low-key killed it. But then also with Spider-Man 4, I think he even said this in an interview. He just didn't think he could deliver on that vision anymore because of how much it was already tampered with. So, like, in a little bit of respect to him, I'm just like, I respect the fact that he just kind of stopped. Obviously, I'm sad that we never got Spider-Man 4 Carnage, which was, I think, the working title. But it's like, he was like, the image was already kind of messed up, so I'm just not going to make it.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to put out a product that he's just like, that's not what I intended from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about how much these directors actually have a story in mind from a long time. Because, he's been working on Spider-Man from 2002 to 2011 at that point.
And I think the first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies have aged well, in my opinion.
Yeah, 2 is still one of the best comic book movies of all time.
What do you mean aged well, bro? From the moment 2 came out, it was a classic.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
They are amazing. Spider-Man 2 is still, and we talked about this for sure. In my Mount Rushmore of superhero movies, it's just a great movie.
No, I 100% agree with you. Another thing too, keep it in the Spider-Man realm. Someone from Sony just said like a few days ago, because I saw this on Campia's show, is that he said when Spider-Man Far From Home comes out, it's going to reveal everything that's going on over at Sony.
No Way Home, you mean? No Way Home?
Or, whatever the new movie's coming, the one in December.
Yeah,
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah, they're saying that in No Way Home that it's going to reveal everything about Spider-Man and everything about the Spider-Verse over at Sony. I guess it's going to be the last Disney Spider-Man movie, and then they get the rights back, and then Sony gets the rights back to Spider-Man.
So then does that mean he's not going to be in the MCU anymore?
No,
what does that imply?
Well, they haven't definitively said no. Basically, what's happened is, it's the last film in the Sony MCU deal, and it's also going to be Tom Holland's last deal under his contract. Yeah. So people are speculating that this is it, that he's done with it.
I just want to say, my speculation is that there's going to be a new deal, and it would be stupid if they don't get a new deal done.
Right. I mean, it's making so much money. It doesn't make sense that any of the parties involved.
It's also just good movies. You know what I'm saying? He's a good Spider-Man.
Shay Smithers just brings up a good point here. He says that he's thinking maybe Scarlet Witch will have something to do with it, messing with reality, somehow affecting the other people.
I think it's definitely going along those same lines. It has to be Doctor Strange because his second movie is literally called Multiverse of Madness or something like that. So it's gonna have to be Doctor Strange.
Which Sam Raimi is directing. So
I didn't even know that. Okay,
yeah, he's directing it.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, because what happened was the first director had a falling out with Disney, so then Sam Raimi came in. So, all right. Hey, look at that. Monstrosities is here. Shout out to Matt from Monstrosities and all his hard work and all the stuff he's done for this channel. Thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Says Tom Hardy needs to enter the Marvelverse. I think he's kind of he hates Tom Hardy, so. Also, shout out to Michael B. Says shout out to Michael B. and Ian Lewis, and of course Godzilla Gamer 77's in here tonight. Thank you for all dropping in.
What up, bros?
Thanks, guys.
But yeah, I pretty much wrapped my thoughts on the whole Spider-Man and Sony thing. I don't know if do you guys have anything to add? Any last thoughts on Spider-Man?
I just want to see how it plays out, to be honest, because it's very confusing right now.
Hopefully we'll get a trailer soon. I think when Black Widow comes out next month, I think we'll get a trailer for Spider-Man. I would imagine they'd be stupid not to. If not, Shang-Chi comes out in September? So either July or September, we'll get a Spider-Man trailer.
We'll get something soon. I'm just more curious than anything else, like Alfred Molina's role in this. He's coming back as Doc Ock. So
I don't think he died, in my opinion.
We didn't even mention that, actually. And the thing that I want to say about that is, I forgot who said it, that said, in this universe, people don't really die. So I'm like, all right, that's definitely 100% means they're doing the multiverse, because people definitely died in the MCU. So they're definitely talking about Tobey Maguire's universe, where people don't really die.
Right.
So I'm like, that's where I was like, when I saw that and I saw Alfred Molina, I'm like, my boy Tobey definitely needs to be in here then.
Yeah. So what John Watts kind of explained to Alfred Molina, who then said this in a press conference, is what he said was the very end of Spider-Man 2, like where we see Doc Ock for the last time, that's where it picks up. So I don't know like what that means, like what the context is. Is there going to be time travel involved like there was in Endgame?
It sounds like both time and dimension travel, I guess.
Right. You know, and then of course, you know, if we're seeing him, good chance we're going to see Tobey also. So.
And there's also someone came out and said the other day, and I don't know how true this is. There's also rumors going around that Willem Dafoe's Green.
I saw that as well. Yeah.
Green Goblin's the main villain. I'll say my thoughts real quick. If it's true, I'd be thrilled because he was.
We literally haven't had a Green Goblin since him.
Well, it's not just that, but he was terrific as Green Goblin. But the problem is he had that bulky helmet. We didn't get to see him express, you know, Mark, you know where I'm going with this. At the costume.
Yeah, and I agree, and I mean this in the nicest way. He's got a face that's built. It's already made for that role. Like you have to do is do some prosthetics on him. He's good for that. You know what I mean?
He also has a face, and like people have been saying this for years. A great face for the Joker as well, because they have very similar facial structures.
Have you ever seen that YouTube clip of him doing a monologue and someone has like done like a Joker deep fake on him? Incredible.
I would love to see him as Joker. I'm not
me
gonna lie
too.
to you.
Maybe in Pattinson's Batman universe, maybe we'll get that.
Maybe.
Just because they were fantastic. I don't know if you've seen the Lighthouse, Kush, but the two of them, Pattinson and Dafoe, were amazing in that movie.
You know why I think there's a good chance of it happening? Because studios love to reuse actors like that, man.
Yeah.
They love to reuse actors like that.
Yes, 100% agree with that. Okay, so I want to segue into our next topic because I definitely want to hear your opinion because I've been dying to talk about this on NerdCage, but we haven't had the chance. So, another big news that was revealed last week. One of my favorite movies of all time is Highlander with Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery and Clancy Brown. They're rebooting Highlander. This has been in the works for like over a decade now. That there's at one point Ryan Reynolds was attached to it, and then there was somebody else. but it's been confirmed. The director from John Wick is directing the new Highlander movie, and your favorite Superman, Henry Cavill, is Connor McLeod.
So I might be disappointing you here because I have no idea what Highlander is, man.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I just gotta be honest. I've never seen Highlander. I don't know anything about it. You said my favorite Superman. I'm always gonna support Henry Cavill no matter what he does. So he's gonna kill it. I don't know what the role is, but he's gonna kill it.
Okay, Mark, go ahead and explain Highlander. Go ahead and explain Highlander to Kush.
So it's obviously, I mean, it's a classic movie from the early 80s, obviously well before your time, but it's basically about an immortal, right? Connor McLeod, and there are other immortals, but there can really only be one. So at one point they all have to converge in battle, and at the end there can only be one immortal left. Did I explain that properly?
The only way to kill an immortal is by beheading them.
Sounds pretty cool.
So they've been alive for God knows how long, and Connor McLeod, he was born in Scotland during the Middle Ages, and so basically.
Also, new immortals are just birthed then.
Well, they become immortals at birth, but they don't. But the immortality is not triggered until they have a shock of a violent death. So Connor McLeod was killed in a Scottish battle against another clan. So when they get killed, they die.
I'll tell you what, I really want to watch it now because like I don't know what kind of genre it is, but that's one of my shticks, man. I love
fantasy.
That. Yeah, I love where it's like just immortal people battling out. Like for example, and what's the name of that movie, man? It's slipping my mind. God, oh yeah, there it is. Which I really want to see a sequel of, but it's never gonna happen. Hancock. I love Hancock.
Oh yeah.
A big reason I love Hancock is not just because he's literally just a drunk superhero, trying to be a good superhero. Well, that's a great premise. But the best premise about it is like, he's basically an Egyptian god. And you know what I'm saying? He can't get back with his Egyptian goddess wife because, I don't know, crazy stuff starts to happen. And I've always wanted to see a sequel to that movie because I'm like, damn, that tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. But also it's so, I don't know how to describe it. Stuff like about immortals that are, basically living on Earth. And if something happens, they gotta like come through and all that, man.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it's called.
I think you'll like the movie. It's Highlanders from 1986. It's a classic. I don't know where it's streaming. It might be on Netflix still. I actually have the movie, but I think it might be streaming on Netflix. But they had 5 sequels, which were all bad, by the way. And it also
anytime a movie has more than like 2 sequels.
Well, there was never meant to be a sequel. The story concludes at the end of the first movie. Spoiler alert. I'll leave it at that. But there were 5 sequels.
Bless you.
Excuse me.
And there was also a TV show which was good. There was a TV show that was about another immortal from the same clan. It was his cousin. It was actually a really good TV show because
Duncan McLeod.
Yeah, but they delved into like deeper topics. Like, for example, there was one episode where there's an immortal kid. There was a 10-year-old kid who was like 1,000 years old, and he couldn't defend himself because he was just a kid. There's been like so many good situations. There was the best episodes when the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from the Bible were still alive in modern time.
But how does that work though? There could only be one immortal.
So again, the only way to kill them is by cutting their heads off, and when they cut their heads off, they absorb their essence. They absorb their essence after they kill them, and so every time you kill an immortal, the winner becomes more powerful because they absorb all their knowledge and all their strength and everything. So that's why they were driven. Like so the first movie takes place in modern day New York City, where they all just said, "Fuck it, we're gonna end this now." So all the mortals met in New York City, but they all went to New York City.
Okay, they just wanted to end it in the movie then. Okay then.
So they're rebooting it. So rebooting it with the director from John Wick, who's fantastic with martial arts and stuff like that, and of course Henry Cavill, who's just larger than life. So
listen, man, he's gonna kill it. I haven't even seen the original movie. All I know is that he's gonna kill it, man. He's just built like that.
And now we just need an equally awesome villain.
Villain?
Yeah, I mean, who would you?
The original one, I thought there would have been multiple villains or something.
There's a main villain in the original called the Kurgan, and he's played by Clancy Brown, if you know who that is. I think it was one of Clancy Brown's like earliest roles.
He's a voice actor now. He voices Lex Luthor in the Superman cartoons. He's also he's the crab from SpongeBob.
Mr. Krabs?
Yeah, he's the voice of Mr. Krabs.
That's hilarious.
He's also on a show on Showtime called Billions, which he plays like Billions is about like, you know, Wall Street, and then there's like the Department of Justice who's going after these like these hedge fund managers who are like crooked. He plays like the head of the Department of Justice there. So, but he brilliant actor. But this is like one of his earliest
Mark, also, somebody told me that he's going to be the main villain in the new season of Dexter. Somebody told me that the other day. So I don't watch Dexter, so I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Clancy Brown. Keep in mind, the man's like 7 feet tall, and the Kurgan was like a scary but badass villain in the first Highlander movie, and he was the most powerful one. So my only concern is Henry Cavill is huge. They're gonna need to find someone bigger to play the Kurgan, maybe like the Mountain from Game of Thrones or somebody. Like they need they need a big.
They're gonna need somebody with actual acting skills, though.
Yeah. So the thing is that we got our new Connor McLeod, but we need like a really good Kurgan too. So we'll have to wait.
That's gonna be interesting to see who they cast.
Yeah. But the only thing we know is we got director and we got the main actor. We don't know anything else. But color me excited. I mean, Highlander's an all-time classic, but I do believe this is like the one rare exception where I'm all for a reboot/remake. Even though I hate reboots and remakes, but I feel like Highlander, I mean, you don't even know what Highlander was, so this is a good time to bring it back, in my opinion. Mark, you got anything else on it?
No, I mean, you pretty much nailed it. I'm ready for a reboot. I mean, it's been, almost 40 years since the original was released. I'm curious.
I gotta ask, what for you guys distinguishes a reboot and just a remake? Because it just sounds like they're remaking it to me. Like, it's time for a remake, not necessarily a reboot. But like,
to me, those are the same thing.
Yeah.
To me, those are the same thing, but
okay.
Everybody's got their different things. I just think that, like if you want to say remake, I think that, you remake it from zero, from the first movie with the original characters and just modernize the story. I think that this movies definitely do that. I am also in addition to Cavill being cast, I want to know who they're going to cast as the Kurgan, but also who are they going to cast as Ramirez? Sean Connery's character. To me, I can't think of anybody who could fill those shoes. Anybody in the chat, if you have any ideas, let us know.
I hope we get a cameo from Christopher Lambert and Clancy Brown. I hope they at least make some kind of cameo. It'll be another thing too, Kush. Another thing, the movie Queen did the soundtrack for the movie. So if Brian May or somebody from Queen gets a cameo, I'm just gonna be like, yes. So I hope they have some kind of throwback.
Now you're putting up high expectations for the soundtrack. I don't know if we talked about this. Maybe this was one of the topics we missed last time. How, in my opinion, the quality of sound, music, score and soundtrack of a movie is directly connected, in my opinion, to just the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to match Queen, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent point.
Oh, yeah.
That's... you gotta say, in the 80s, there was, all these movie soundtracks. We talked about this on NerdCage Live, like Top Gun, Footloose, a lot of these 80s movies.
New Jack City. Yep.
Yeah,
Did we get to cover that topic? It could be a show where it was, my opinion on sound in movie and the quality of movie.
No. If you got, we that's something we can talk about.
No, I was asking, did we cover it last time? Because I can't remember.
No,
we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't.
So my quick thing on that, and I had this opinion formed in my head since I was 11, because when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of the Transformers series. And say what you will about the Transformers series, for the most part, they always had a terrific score by Steve Jablonsky. I love the Transformers score. It's, to this day, I guess you'd call me a bit weird. I listen to a little bit of everything, literally everything. I listen to rock, I listen to rap, I listen to pop. But this is the weird part. I've been listening to movie scores sometimes too. I'll put on some Steve Jablonsky, I'll put on some Hans Zimmer and I'll just chill.
Yeah, me too.
With it. Like, it's good music, you know what I mean? But yeah, so like with the Transformers movies, this is where my opinion really like kind of formed. The first movie had a great score. The second movie had a great score as well because it really wasn't that different from the first. And then the third one, you know, was it was a bit sadder to reflect, I guess, just the darker tone of the movie overall. But then since then, basically when they quote-unquote rebooted it with 4 and 5, the scores were high-key trash. And so were the movies, like, really bad. And, like, I've noticed that a lot, like, you know, from since seeing that, like, how the quality of the score just kind of declined slightly and then a really big jump to the fourth movie. It really lined up with how the quality of the movie declined slightly and then a big jump with 4 and 5, and I saw it in other movies as well. And like my own opinion that I formed is, I guess, like, all right, if movie studios are gonna put a lot of effort into something like score that not a lot of people are gonna notice, that means they probably put a lot of effort into everywhere else. Like, that's the opinion that kind of formed. So I kind of want to know what you guys think about that, and if you got any other examples. Like, generally, if there's a great movie score or soundtrack, that movie's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a correlation. I mean, if you look at like 1989 Batman, right? Like Tim Burton's Batman.
That's a good one.
Danny Elfman with that iconic soundtrack, that iconic scoring.
Dark Knight, you know what I'm saying? Dark Knight score, yeah.
Right, exactly. Hans Zimmer, and then, you know, I mean, John Williams and all the stuff that he did in the 70s and 80s with Star Wars, with Superman, and, you know, I believe he did E.T., so, and these are all memorable movies. They're all iconic movies that, you know, people still talk about now. And you're right. Like, the movies that are sort of, you know, B level, C level, they're not really, putting a lot of effort into the score. They're just kind of, if it's even just like a regular soundtrack, they're just kind of slapping different, songs together that don't really make a cohesive album. So
same, by the way, for video games. And the reason this comes because, like, when we were in the car today, me and my friends had a very, very short, brief conversation about how soundtracks in video games from like the mid 2000s are like top tier, and then now they're just like, what in the world happened? And we were just like, yo, did the producers retire? Because now they're not putting together the same type of music. Like, there's still good artists out there. They're just not putting it like together as a soundtrack for the video games.
Right.
Actually, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite composers when it comes to video games, though,
you already know who I'm going to say.
I can't read. He did Doom and he did Killer Instinct. Oh my god, I can't. Hold on. I'm looking it up right now. I'll know the name when I see it.
While you look that up, Halo score is legendary. You already know I'm a huge Halo fan.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. God damn it. Is it, no, not Mick. Is it Mick Gordon? Hold on, it might be Mick Gordon. Yeah. So Mick Gordon did the new Killer. Well, I should say new. It's like a decade, I don't know, but he did the Killer Instinct reboot, but he also did the Doom remakes. And like, I think he's like fantastic, like, because he uses like, I mean, yeah, it's more like rock and metal oriented, but like, he just knows how to like blend the music with like the action in the game. Like, he's like the best at it when it comes to like if it's like a plain, like you got like a Doom, if there's like nothing going on in the level of Doom, the music's like more calm. But then once the aliens and monsters and demons start attacking you, the music like revs up like quite a bit. So like, I love that.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree and say Martin O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore from Halo 1, 2, and 3 are probably the best when it comes to that, because they did it with church music, bro, and it's epic. They did it with goddamn, I forgot the specific, Gregorian chants. They made Gregorian chants work in an alien FPS game, bro. I've never seen anything like that in my life before. And not only that, you know, that was mainly the first one. And yo, you just need to go back and listen to the first Halo score, bro. You can put it on a shuffle, you can listen to it in order. It's great music, and it makes you feel, especially for, like, you don't even have to be a big fan of it for you to feel something, right? But for me, as a big fan, like, it's such a good score that I literally listen back to it sometimes, and I kid you not, sometimes I tear up just because, like, that's how beautiful the music is. And then with Halo 2, they moved on a little bit. They kind of got a little bit more experimental, I guess you could say, where they involved a bit of rock. And Halo 2 is known for its rock score, and especially with the guitar in its main theme. And I'm forgetting the guitarist who did it. Oh man, he did it. I think it was Steve Vai. I think it was.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. I know Breaking Benjamin did the song "Blow Me Away" in the second game, the second Halo 2 soundtrack. That song was dope as hell, and I know the guys from Breaking Benjamin are huge gamers. I just want to point out, Ian in the chat.
Steve Vai. It was indeed Steve Vai.
Oh wow! Okay.
And guess what? He did it. There's a video online somewhere, and then Marty O'Donnell, who now has Marty O'Donnell's just a cool dude in real life. The original composer. He said it as well, but there's also video evidence. Steve Vai literally walked into the studio. He listened to the original score from the first game, the main theme. And then just from listening to once, he did the riff that's used as the main theme for Halo 2 in one take. Like he just got it automatically. He made it like I would recommend, if you haven't, if not the first, listen to the second one, because there's still elements of that just straight up church music that's epic. Like once again, bro, you're playing an FPS game, you're not expecting to hear that type of music and for it to actually work in that setting, which is why I'm so impressed and I love it so much. And then you have more of, I guess, what you're expecting in the second game with the with a little bit of rock involved, but it's still very much like Gregorian chants, what Halo is known for and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Halo 3, it's a little bit happier. It has kind of like everything mixed in with piano. That's what Halo 3 is. Halo 1 is known for the chants, 2 the rock, and 3 is known for the piano, which also, talk about making me cry. Anytime I hear just the 3 notes, like Halo 3's main theme is known for its 3 notes, bro. Yeah. Anytime I hear those piano notes go off, bro, I just get memories flooding back to me.
Yeah, there's a reason why I used the Halo music as your hype trailer. I want to point out, Ian in the chat just said that Hans Zimmer did the music for Call of Duty. That I did not know.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Hans Zimmer is obviously a great composer, but the fact that I can't remember that much music from Call of Duty, he isn't doing many things
I stopped
right
playing
now.
Call of Duty years ago. I haven't played Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. So, well over a decade ago. I actually wanted to bring up, because you wanted to talk about Halo, so real quick, man, Mark's not much of a gamer. I played Halo a little bit early on, but go ahead. What got you into Halo, and why is Halo like your all-time favorite game?
Ooh, this might take a while. So in terms of what got me into Halo, that's actually kind of simple. Halo was the very first video game I ever played in my life. So I'm from Guyana, which is a country in South America. It's the only English-speaking country in South America. It's classified as a third world underdeveloped country, so there's not too much technology there. So when we got our first computer, my family, I think I was like 6 or 7. At that time, Halo 3 was coming out, so it was the end of the original trilogy. It came pre-installed with Halo Combat Evolved, which is the first Halo game. And it was the only thing I knew how to use on the computer. So I literally, as a 6-year-old, which I don't know if it's smart, because Halo used to be rated mature. I think that was rated T15, which is kind of stupid.
There's far worse out there, and I started playing Mortal Kombat at age 5, so you're good.
Yeah, so like I literally just started. It was the very first exposure to any video game I have, which when I tell people they're surprised because they usually expect it to be like Mario or something. But nah, Halo on PC is the very first exposure to video games I ever had, and like even as a kid, I was extremely freaked out by the menu music, which is the main theme, the Gregorian chants. Like, it just made me feel alien, which is a great way to describe it, because, that's what you're fighting. But you see the ring floating around on the menu, and you hear the, oh, and I'm just like, I feel chills, like, as a kid. And I play it, and I kid you not, I stopped playing at 343 Guilty Spark, that level, which is when the Flood comes in, which, in terms of Halo lore, they're really the main villain, and they're super scary. And their theme music is even more scary. This is where my inner musician's coming out, because I played viola for 6 years. Since I was a kid in Guyana, I did a little bit of like drums for like 4 years, and I was also in chorus for 4 years. So like,
oh nice.
As a trained, quote unquote trained musician, I have like 8 to 10 years of training with it. So like I can pick up on some stuff that maybe not a lot of other people can pick up on, and that's why I'm so into music in general. And why, I actually, I guess, have a deeper connection with it than most people might have. But with the Flood music on a stringed instrument, I don't know if it's a violin or viola, they, on purpose do a very screechy sound to hurt your ears to let you know the Flood is coming. Which is another thing that I really love, in general, getting back to Halo music. You're not expecting church music. You're not expecting stringed orchestral instruments, which, once again, works really well. You know what I'm saying? So, as a kid, I guess that's why I love it so much. It was my very first exposure, and it was a good game. I'm saying now a lot of people don't know about Halo like that, but when it came out back in 2001, it was the game that literally made FPS games what they are today. Like, Doom is the birth of FPS games. Halo was like the evolution of it to what they are today.
Well, you're GoldenEye. You got to throw in GoldenEye too. But GoldenEye was more like realistic, whereas Doom and Halo was more fantastical science fiction.
I would say what I mean by when Halo like kind of made FPS games what they are today. I'm talking about mechanics wise.
Yeah.
Like everything that you see in a modern day FPS, you could connect back to Halo Combat Evolving with data, especially when it comes to controls on a console. Was what it really revolutionized, because that original Xbox controller, like it was the first FPS game actually made specifically in mind with how the controller was going to be made, because obviously the Xbox was launched with Halo. Yeah. So when they were designing the control, they were thinking about, all right, where are we going to put specific buttons so that the player has the easiest time getting access to them? And that's obviously how most FPS, if not all FPS games, are designed today. So it was a great first game experience for me. For what is technically one of the more legendary games in video game history that not a lot of people know about today like that, just because, it fell off. It's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? I hate admitting it, but it kind of fell off. You know what I mean? But I got into it young. It had great music, which is something I love from a young age. It is one of the perfect games for the power fantasy, which as a kid, I feel like everybody has a power fantasy. It perfectly places you in the body of the Master Chief, who says no lines really, no type of dialogue that much. So you really, just because the man isn't really saying anything, it's funny, it's the easiest way to get immersed in a game when the character isn't saying anything much. So you're just like, I'm going to be saying a bunch of dialogue in my head, and I'm just going to go through it like I'm Master Chief. Like, that's one of the things they mastered in that first game, was just allowing the player to get through in the power fantasy. What's up?
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they never, Master Chief has some dialogue later on, but they never, in the lore, they never revealed, who he is. We don't know if he's white, black, Asian, they never...
Oh, no, we know that if you read the Halo books, which... Another thing that this is later on, but also why I'm so invested in Halo. There's so much lore to it, and I have a lot of their books. Yeah, now we know who Master Chief is. His real name is John. We don't know his last name, but it's John 117 because he was kidnapped as a kid. Oh. He's white. I think he had brown or blonde hair as a kid.
Oh, okay.
I
did not know.
So. Yeah, the whole Spartan program generally, and this is not even deep lore. This is just light lore. He's a Spartan 2, right? That's super soldier. He's one of, I think it was 75 or 76 Spartan 2s that were all kidnapped as children from their homes because Earth, this is in the year 2556. Mm-hmm. Earth is an expanding colony, and originally they needed these Spartans. They were going to make these Spartans to help keep order, basically. But it just so happens that as they're making these Spartans, that's when they come in contact with the Covenant, and the Spartans are really their only effective weapon against the Covenant. Nothing else really can fight against them. But the Spartans are literally super soldiers. In the book, Chief could actually run up to speeds of 100 miles an hour. And he did that by breaking his tendons to run that fast. He's 8 feet tall. You know what I'm saying? So when you think super soldiers, you think Cap. But with these guys, they were kidnapped as kids. They replaced the kids with Flash clones that died shortly after. So the parents think that the kids died, which is where it gets kind of dark. So they kidnapped these kids, indoctrinated them into the Marine service, and then when they hit the age of 13, they underwent the augmentative process, which is their surgery and whatnot. That's why the dude's 8 feet tall. That's why, in armor, he weighs a ton or 5 tons or something crazy like that. And after his augmentative surgery, he was 13 or 14. He went to the gym to work out just to get some stress out, because obviously all of this is doing damage to the mind of these children. It's literally child soldiers, which is where you get more and more deep into the story. He encountered ODSTs, which before Spartans existed, orbital drop shock troopers were the highest of the highest rank in the Marine service, basically the Space Marine service. And ODSTs, they're the toughest you could get without being an augmented soldier. And Chief literally killed a dude by punching him out. He punched him, knocked him to the ground, and that killed him as a 14-year-old. So yeah, that's how augmented they are, you know what I'm saying? That's a little light lore, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even getting into the deep lore of the Covenant, which are the alien enemies, the Flood, which is actually this is gonna sound crazy, I'm not gonna get into it, but the Flood are actually made from the dust remains of primordial gods that used to rule over the universe and stuff like that, which is where Halo 4 and 5 tries to come in a little bit, but they kind of messed up the story. But the lore gets extremely deep, which is another reason I got more and more invested into it, because you start off, as just a video game player, and then once you go and explore more, you just start loving everything else that you're encountering.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the next Halo game is postponed to next year, right?
This year.
Oh, it's coming this year.
It was supposed to come out last year, but obviously because of COVID whatnot, it's coming out this year, holiday
now,
this year.
Now, is this a spin-off, or is it part of the main series?
it's part of the main series, but because of how, like I was saying, they just, especially with 5, Halo 4 actually had a good story, but the reason it had a bad reception was because the gameplay was trash, which for Halo standards, you can't have trash gameplay when your game is known for like being one of the best at gameplay. Then Halo 5 had the worst story I've ever seen, not just Halo-wise, just in a video game-wise. Nothing made sense. Still, to this day, if I had any type of powers, I would go back and change what the hell they were writing in that room. Because it made the series just drop off. Like, Halo is an absolute joke of a video game now because of Halo 5 and what they did with the story there. So 6, they're labeling it as a quote-unquote soft reboot. The only reason they're labeling it as that is because the only way to legitimately distance themselves from that story in Halo 5 is to actually distance themselves in universe. So Halo 6 or Halo Infinite as it's known takes place like 5 or 6 years after Halo 5. So they're doing all they can to just put that story behind them, which there's only so much you can do because this is supposed to be the ending of the second trilogy. And it's really bad when you have an okay to good first part, a terrible second part, and then, what we're expecting to be a good to great third part, because that terrible second part affects both the beginning and the end. And that's what Halo 5 did. Like, so they're calling it a soft reboot because they're trying to move far away from that. I don't know how they're going to wrap up the story that they started back in Halo 4. I don't even know if they're going to attempt to do that or if they're just going to attempt to start something new, which is once again why they're calling it a soft reboot, just in terms of story direction. That's it.
Okay. We got 2 more things on Halo here. I got one, E3's next week, or coming pretty soon. There are rumors, keyword rumors. Now, I'm a Nintendo guy. Mm-hmm. Rumor has it Master Chief may be the last Smash Brothers DLC.
Oh, bro, I don't know how late you are on this, Jay. That's been a rumor since Xbox and Nintendo, like, basically.
Yeah, because they've been talking about putting Halo on Switch, but
they made that deal a year or 2 ago, bro, and Halo and Nintendo fans and the crossovers were going wild about it on Twitter, including myself. So this has been a long time in the making. Yeah. If Master Chief goes to Smash Bros, because that rumor of Smash Bros getting Master Chief in the game has been there since like Nintendo and Xbox made that deal.
Well, we're gonna get news. Nintendo's supposed to be making some reveals pretty soon. I would just love to see Master Chief come to Smash Brothers just so we could see. I'm a Metroid fan. Samus versus Master Chief. We'll finally get it.
I mean, damn, I don't know who, because I haven't played Metroid like that, so I wouldn't know who would win.
I've always loved Metroid. It'd be fun. And one last thing on Halo. So I don't know. I have a free 1-week trial of Paramount Plus. There's a Halo series coming on Paramount Plus next year. Any hopes and dreams for the Halo series on Paramount Plus?
I really lost all faith in it, just because it's been in the works technically since 2013, 2012. It's been in the works for almost a whole decade now. I think we might have lightly touched on this last episode, I think. So if we didn't, I'm going to just say what I thought I said. I don't know why I'm having memories of stuff that never happened. But the reason I really don't like it anymore is because while the video game department of Halo has, like, they've learned from their mistakes. Like, we've seen it with a spin-off game, which is why us as Halo fans have faith in this new game. Like, that story-wise and gameplay-wise should go somewhere good. It seems that whoever has been working on the show from 2012 is the same person. Because ever since then, we haven't gotten any good news. And the worst news of it all is that this is not going to be a canon story. So I'm just like, I hate that because, once again, going back to the books, there's so many great stories you could pick from any of the books. And if you want to make it about Master Chief, in fact, most of the books aren't even about Master Chief. They're about, other characters and just fleshing out the lore. But there's a good, 3 to 4 books on Chief alone if you want to do that. And they're making an all-new original story that is not canon, that has nothing to do with Chief. And also, this can get political, but I'm not a very political dude. I don't like the fact that they color washed a couple of characters. Like Captain Keyes is now going to be black, and so is his daughter. Like I said, I don't want to get political, but it's like Captain Keyes, he is technically Master Chief's dad. So I don't know how that's going to work unless they just start changing all the characters.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I just think, here's the thing. There's that lingering video game movie curse, but the thing is, it's not a movie. This is actually going to be a series, which...
It was supposed to be a movie at first before they then said it's
Well, I think with something like Halo, you need to flesh the story out, and you need like a mini, like a series. You can't do it all in a 2 or even a 3-hour film. So,
exactly.
Here's hoping that now I don't know if anyone here or anyone in the chat has delved into Paramount Plus yet. I haven't. I haven't even really delved into it, but okay, I know I'm gonna get so much shit for this. I really
want to see a series on is actually not even Master Chief at this point more because, like I said, it's not canon. But I would really love to see a series. I don't know if you guys know this character, Sergeant Avery Johnson. Man, this man is an absolute legend. Not only because at first he was just comedic relief in the Halo games, and he developed into one of the best characters. This man right here, bro, he's a Spartan 1 technically, and that's part of his lore that isn't really explored unless you're a deep fan. So Chief is Spartan 2. Spartan 1s were like the failed program, but he's one of the very few that survived the failed program. And he's like immune. Like the Flood, they kind of consume everything. He's the only known human to be immune to it. And I'm just like, bro, why don't you guys go and make a series about Johnson? And spoiler alert, he unfortunately dies in Halo 3, which was a sad moment for every single Halo fan. So I would love the fact if they went and explored his character a little bit and made a series on him, bro. But he's also he's badass, bro. He has the most badass lines as well, man. Like, one of his most famous lines in Halo 2 is when he dropped the tank for Master Chief, and Cortana was telling him, see, Chief, he gets me some gifts. Johnson was just like, he always smoking a Cuban cigar, bro. He's like, I know what the ladies like. Like, he has some just classic one-liners, man.
Well, I was just kind of learning to, like, I actually enjoy Picard from Paramount Plus, so I'm hoping that if this Halo show is at the same quality of, like, special effects and storytelling, part of me is like, all right, maybe they can do Halo justice, but I'm not the Halo fan like you are, so, you know.
I mean, listen, I will be glad if other fans are, because obviously I'm one of, I guess, few fans that are as in deep with it as they are. I'll be 100% ecstatic if more like casual fans or guys like you guys that don't even necessarily know that much actually like it, because that means you might go and check out the games. You know what I'm saying? So I would love it if it has that effect.
Yeah. There we go. But yeah, that's all I got on the Halo, because like I said, I haven't played any of the games except for playing, you know, it was a multiplayer game. I didn't really play the campaign. The
campaigns are amazing, man.
Yeah, I played like the multiplayer in here.
I'll tell you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you can, check out either of the first 3 Halo soundtracks. You're not going to be disappointed. And I don't know if any of you guys still game, but see if you could get your hands on any of the first 3 games. You won't be disappointed. But the soundtracks, I feel like that would be easier because you could just get it on Spotify.
I have an Xbox, so I have access to it. So, Kush, I want to get your opinion too. One thing we didn't get to talk about last time. I know you're. Have you watched Invincible on Amazon Prime?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Oh my god, man, that show is absolute bananas.
Didn't we touch on this?
Yeah, we did kind of talk about Invincible last time.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. Yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to think if there's anything else that we didn't cover from last time. I
had a paper, but obviously I'm not home. But I wrote down stuff on a piece of paper, and I can't remember any of it. I mean, we didn't really touch on Transformers except for the music stuff, but even then, that's really the most I have to say about it. I'm trying to think. We touched on Halo, obviously. We didn't even really get into the Snyderverse, did we? Or we just talked about the Snyder Cut? Did we talk about?
I think we just talked about the Snyder Cut. Yeah, but we didn't really talk about like. Are you talking about in terms of like restoring, like the possibility of restoring it? I don't know. I don't know if we did talk about that or not.
I can't remember.
What are your thoughts on it anyway? Just to sort of reiterate, if we did discuss it,
I would love if they would somehow, some way restore the Snyderverse based off of our Snyder Cut talk. I'm sure that you guys know I love the Snyder Cut, and even then that could have definitely worked in theaters. Don't let anybody fool you if they say, "Oh no, the 4-hour movie can't work in theaters." It could have worked in theaters because a half hour of that 4-hour movie was just pure fan service at the end with the Joker scene and the nightmare scene. You cut that out, that's a 3.5-hour movie that could work in theaters. Like it's worked before in theaters and stuff like that. But I would love if they could restore it because it's a story that I want to see happen. You already know my whole thoughts on Henry Cavill and his Superman hop. You know how I personally feel about that, and how I think like he hasn't had a fair chance for that Superman to tell a story. And at the end of the day, that whole Justice League story is still an overarching Superman story. And even then, you have other characters that I care about after the Snyder Cut. Pre-Snyder Cut, I did not. After the Snyder Cut, I need to see me some more Cyborg, and I need to see me some more Flash, which got really extremely fleshed out in that movie. I mean, Cyborg literally got a whole origin story, and they made him so powerful in Snyder Cut with the stuff that he could do, especially considering the modern world technology, I'm like, there's no way I can't not see a cyborg movie. Like, it has to happen. And remember, originally, like back in like 2015, there was supposed to be a cyborg movie, I think. So yeah, I would love to see it get restored.
So.
Yeah. How do you guys see the possibility of that? I mean, I know that, you know, Warner Brothers has sort of said that was sort of a cul-de-sac, right? Like, it's a one and done. We're going to spend the money we need to. We know we're going to lose money on it. But now that this merger has happened with Discovery, do you see a door opening for that to come to a quick
question to you: what would the merger with Discovery actually have to do with it, though? Like, does it give them more money or something? Like,
absolutely, it gives them way more capital. So I don't know how much you know about like the mechanics of that deal.
I don't. So go ahead and explain it.
New. So it just happened.
So basically, Warner Brothers up to this point has been owned by AT&T. Right? AT&T wanted to expand their Uverse stuff. You know, they were providing sort of the telecommunications and the cable and satellite stuff. And they wanted to be able to provide content also. So they purchased Warner Brothers in the hope of getting their catalog and then being able to sort of distribute that properly. But what happened is there was so much mismanagement, they kind of like didn't let Warner Brothers be itself. Like, they wound up like kind of...
Well, around when did this happen?
I'd say like 20, what was it, like 2015, 2016?
Bro, do you know how much that lines up with mismanagement of just the DCEU?
Right. So this is kind of what I'm getting at. So
that's so terrible, man.
So they basically, to get themselves out of, there's been so much mismanagement with their shepherding of that company that they, just to get their hands like clean of it, they took like something like I want to say like a $14 billion loss. I mean, I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number. I don't know the exact number, but it's a massive loss. Like, Discovery's buying them for a sum.
Oh my God, man! I'm gonna just say this. Like, you know how much sense that, and it just makes me even angrier because it's like, this really caused by just terrible management and everything, because it lines up perfectly with the mismanagement of BVS and the filming of Justice League and literally the entire DCEU, which everybody knew. Studio execs were the one that messed it up. And if studio execs were basically being changed or micromanaged or macromanaged or just straight up mismanaged, it makes sense. I just gotta say this, man. Screw AT&T. All my homies hate AT&T, man.
Well, they're getting out of it, and so what's going to happen now is that that Discovery and Warner are basically going to form a third company called, I think it's just called Warner Discovery.
Warner Discovery, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a brand new company, and it's going to be run by the shareholders. So it's not going to be the owners of these companies. It's actually the shareholders of these two companies are actually going to be in charge of it. So they're going to have like a 71% stake. And so all of the major decisions will be by those people. And so it's a completely different animal. All of the executives, I don't want to say all the executives, but the main ones at Warner Brothers are on their way out. They're going to have like a completely new executive team. There's going to be a lot of major changes.
So with this new information, let me say this. This spells good for the future of future movies. I think this is going to be great for Robert Pattinson Batman. For stuff like the Joker films, like any anthology films, like if we're speaking strictly DC, is going to be great for them. I would love for it to mean something meaningful to the Snyderverse, but like, you talk about mismanaging, they really messed up with how they not only mismanaged the writing and directing, but you look at stuff like what happened with Ray Fisher, which he's completely in the right about feeling like he doesn't want to work back with anything with Warner anymore. It's like, bro, you can't come back from that no matter what you do. And then there's also the fact of these actors are getting older, and you are already 5 years past whatever movies were supposed to be made. 5 years has come and gone already. Henry Cavill has been Superman for almost 10 years now. And it's crazy to think about that, because he's only gotten one Superman movie out of it. And, then, two other movies where he's a part of that has that Superman arc. But it's like, I would love for it to mean some in terms of restoring the Snyderverse, but I think the saddest part of me really thinks that it's just unfortunately over. There's nothing that can be done.
I wouldn't say it's completely over because again we're under new management now. But here's also another thing too is Black Adam is filming right now, and we
know The Rock wants the Snyderverse.
The Rock has been pushing for Snyder to come back and for Henry Cavill to be part of future.
And I'll say this: The Rock is currently the biggest movie superstar in the world, and he has been for a couple of years now. He has been, I want to say, since 2016, 2017. When the biggest movie superstar in the world says something to a studio, they usually might want to go and listen to what he's saying. So I hope that plays out into something, because he's been pushing it for years, just like for example, Jason Momoa was pushing for the Snyder Cut and stuff like that. I hope it results in something. I don't know if it will.
Well, if it does happen, it'll probably be like an HBO Max exclusive, I would imagine. But I think it could work, and they could still do, their other movies moving forward, theatrical speaking, like The Batman and, your Shazams too, which I'm excited for personally, by the way.
I doubt it would go to HBO Max because it can't make something on that scale can't make money on streaming. Like, they lost a ton of money. I don't care what anybody says about it being a massive success. It wasn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. There were a lot of views, right? It got a lot of hits and a lot of people watched it, but HBO Max got virtually no new subscribers off of that. You
cannot it's just with every single streaming service. And you were mentioning the Black Widow movie earlier. I was like, that needs to be released. I don't think I said it, but that's something that needs to be released in theaters no matter what. You're not gonna. Yeah. I don't believe in making money as a movie studio by putting your movie solely on a subscription site. You need to have it in theaters if you're gonna.
Well, Black Widow's doing dual, kind of like what HBO Max is doing dual release.
Okay, then.
Yeah, they're gonna do the Premiere Access thing, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do something that's solely streaming, it needs to the budget on it needs to be less than $30 million.
Also, people hated this, but if you're gonna do something solely streaming, then it's kind of a grimy move, but you're gonna need to do what Disney Plus did when they had their movies on there, where you actually had to still pay for the movies, even though you had Disney Plus. But that's where you're gonna make up those ticket prices.
Right, and people just need to get used to that idea, right? I think that
it's literally just on demand.
Yeah, I mean, just put it on demand. You have a better shot as opposed to making it exclusive and then doing it as Premiere Access. It's almost like a slap in the face, because what message are you sending to your loyal subscribers, right? Mm-hmm. For example, I've had Disney Plus since it launched. You know what I mean? Where's my reward for being a loyal customer? They don't even offer me a discounted rate on the Premiere Access. So, you know what I mean? I've always thought that was a bad play, and I would rather have seen it just be just straight, straight pay-per-view or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's see. Just look at the chat right now. Scott Banks Snyderverse is over. It's time to move on with new movies. I still want Henry Cavill as Superman. Just let him go solo.
Here's the. Go ahead. You were gonna say something.
If they do that, I'm all for.
What does he mean by let him go solo?
Well, saying not another
Justice League,
just a Man of Steel 2. If we were to get a hypothetically speaking, Man of Steel 2, I want to see Henry Cavill Superman against Brainiac. That's what I want to see, because
That's always been.
We've never gotten Brainiac.
What everybody wanted, I think. And it's always been not necessarily a leak plot, but the rumor plot for Man of Steel 2 was always Brainiac was going to be the villain.
Right.
I'm happy we finally got Darkseid, though. I'm Darkseid was freaking awesome in the Snyderverse.
Just speak on the Snyder Cut again. I know it's literally the only live-action Darkseid movie-wise we've gotten, but that man was such a great live-action Darkseid, bro. Not only in the voice, they made him look so good.
Yes.
He was so menacing and imposing, man. He was a great-looking Darkseid, I'll tell you that. And that's another reason I wanted to be restored, because they hit Darkseid the nail on the head the first try, and damn, man.
They did a good job, making his presence felt through the whole movie and the nightmare sequence. Even though he was only in the movie for a couple minutes,
exactly.
You felt his presence.
Bro, even when he came through in the weird metal-like thing, you know what I'm saying? His face came through. Yeah. I was like, yo, that's scary. That's Darkseid, man. Come on now.
Yeah, no, he was great, but we haven't gotten a Brainiac to this day. Well, I hate Mark. I'm sorry to bring back bad memories, but the closest we got to Brainiac was at the end of Superman 3. Was like
and that's not even the stupid
that's like
supercomputer.
The closest we ever gotten, but we've never gotten. I love Brainiac, and I don't know, Kush, if you played the Injustice games, but the second Injustice game, oh my god, you gotta go back and play those games. There's an anime
also in Krypton, in the TV show Krypton, Brainiac is in that.
Oh, that's right. I never watched the second season.
Yeah, he's actually, and he's not bad. Yeah. It's a pretty good interpretation of him. There's also a really good, this is kind of off topic, but there's also like a really good interpretation of Lobo in season 2.
Yeah.
Like the guy that plays Lobo in that is actually really good. And I kind of wish that they had saved him for like the big screen, because he could have easily, Jason Momoa would have been my first pick, but they have him as Aquaman. This guy would be a good second.
Season 1 was great. I never watched. Is season 2 on HBO Max or no?
I think it's on HBO Max now.
Okay, yeah, I gotta watch it. Season 1, I thought Krypton was awesome. Personally, I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was pretty good.
Maybe I need to check it out. I just never got into it because I was like a story about what Superman's grandfather or something.
Yeah, Superman's grandfather. Yeah, it's actually pretty good, and like that version of General Zod, and like it's actually a pretty decent telling of super.
You already know my favorite Superman show, bro. Smallville, all day, every day.
Have you watched Superman and Lois at all?
I have not.
So good. That's
I do have HBO Max though, so maybe I should check it out.
Definitely check it out. And there's
this is where I think I've been pretty as objective and well spoken as I can so far. This is where the stupid part of me comes out. I'm not even gonna lie to you, okay? I hate the fact that Superman ain't that buff. I'm sorry. That's the skinniest.
That's my complaint too. And his muscle suit, it's like.
And I low key, I'm sorry. This is where even super parts of me, people are gonna hate me so much for this, but let me have this. I feel like I've been as objective as possible so far. Yo, Lois Lane is straight ugly, man. That Lois Lane is straight ugly, bro. She looks like a walking skeleton, man. She deadass looks like a walking skeleton, bro. I can't.
Oh, wow.
I know it has not. She's a great actress, bro.
She is.
She does the job well, but I can't look at that and say, yeah, that's Lois Lane, bro. I told you, it's going to be the stupidest opinion I probably said on the show in both of my appearances.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Wow.
That's what I thought, man. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. You agree with the Superman thing. Well, I don't know if you agree or disagree with the Lois. And I was just like, damn. Go buy somebody else. Like, for real?
We had some really, really great Lois Lanes in the past. I mean, obviously Amy Adams was fantastic. As bad as the show was, I was in love with Terry Hatcher as Lois Lane back in the 90s, and Lois and Clark, New Adventures of Superman. It was a cheesy 90s Superman show, but Terry Hatcher was fine as hell.
The Lois from Smallville was fine too, man.
Well, yeah, but she was in like Desperate Housewives. She was in Seinfeld, The Real and They're Spectacular. Like she was, she was a fantastic Lois Lane. She definitely had.
I'm sorry, man. Like the first time I saw her, I was like, "Yo, why does she look like a walking skeleton, man?" Like for real, bro.
No, I haven't seen the show yet. Mark says it's good. I'll take his word on it because Mark is like the human Superman encyclopedia. And if he says if Superman and Lois is a good show,
I'll definitely check it out.
I'll say this much about it. Like, all right, so Dion McGill is in the chat, Off the Beaten podcast. I was on a show around this time last year, actually, and we had a discussion about how do we make Superman relevant in the modern era, right? Because at this juncture, right, this iteration of Superman, at least most versions of Superman now, he's basically like the most powerful being on Earth. He's essentially a god, right? So there are very few other characters that can really match him, right? So you can't make a character like that super compelling, right? So what's cool about this show is he's an older Superman. He has teenage sons, and because he is who he is, and he's always gone, and he's always off saving people, he has trouble connecting with his sons, who are now, one of them is now like developing powers of his own. right? And so if you like think about like Smallville and how how it had like its dramatic thing of like, you know, when Clark was young and there were those dramatic scenes there, and there's like
it had its own
human storylines.
Yeah,
this has like more of like a human element, and it's like, what would it really be like if Superman really existed and he had a family? Like, what would that be like?
And Mark, I'll say this, and you would definitely notice, since Jay called you the Superman Human Encyclopedia, 100% that's going to be more relatable than anything else I think they could put out right now for like a wide audience. But like I said, you know, and I know, there's very, very compelling Superman stories that they could just put on TV. I just
absolutely.
They're just not looking for it. Like, he is one of the more compelling characters. It's just that they never actually tell those compelling stories.
That's true. That is true. You know, I think a lot of it has to do with like familiarity, right? Like, you know, there are tons of characters around, like tons of characters within that universe, like within the DC universe, particularly like in Metropolis, that the majority of people have never heard of, and to sort of delve into those characters and tell those stories, like you said, I think that Warner has thought of that as like a big risk. You know what I mean? Like, they've played it safe, really. If you really break it down, they've been playing it safe the whole time.
For like many decades.
Exactly.
It's funny. I think the most experimental thing or non-safe play they have done was Smallville. Because like, it was so not safe that they had the no flights, no tights rule. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that was a success. So I don't know why they don't look at that success and try to take another risk.
Yeah, I agree.
But Jay, what was the last time? I do have to say, I gotta get off in like 5 minutes though.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty much all the topics we were planning on covering. So why don't we just open up the floor real quick? We'll take any last minute questions. Before we take some questions, Kush, go ahead and like plug yourself in and tell people where they can find you, what you do, and all that good stuff.
For sure. So all my links are down below. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I am from the Hub, which is a Giants, well, mainly a Giants channel. I cover the New York Football Giants, talk about them, give my takes about them, occasionally make skits, occasionally make prediction videos. It's not just news coverage, you know. Sometimes I give just my own opinions and make videos like that about them. That's really about it. You know, when I do live streams, I love chatting with people that are actually in the chat. I have live call-in shows every Tuesdays, and I also run a podcast on Wednesdays with my co-host Kid Blue. But yeah,
you guys are fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. You guys are amazing as well.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely check out the Hub. Links are in the description. Sub him up. Also, his Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter's there. By the way, Kush is a Twitter goat. Always posting some.
Depending on what you define as Twitter goat. Depending on what you define as Twitter goat, then yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, you're like I said, you're amazing on Twitter, and some of the stuff you post and stuff you like retweet crack me up. So. Definitely give him a follow if you're on Twitter. But yeah, Kush, we always love having you on because we know you bring it. We will have you back. Just saying.
I'm down. I'm 100% down, man. You can have me on as many times as you want, bro.
We'll announce something We'll announce something soon. But we plan on having you back. We're really excited. Like, we always know that you bring it. And also, I'm happy to see that Giants fans coming full force today. By the way, shout out to bonus commentary, Scott Bannock, Dion from Off the Beaten Podcast, Brian Kingsley, Shay Smithers, Ian Lewis, Joel. You guys have been fantastic tonight. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if we missed some of your questions and stuff, but we saw everybody in the chat there. You guys were having a good time, so I'm happy about that. So Mark, real quick, want to plug some stuff in.
Yeah, so you guys requested this one. We put it to a vote, and this is the movie you picked. So our next look back is going to be Michael Bay's The Rock. So Jay and I rewatched this, and I got to say, it was a lot more fun than I remembered watching it the first time. I thought Nicolas Cage was awesome. So, you know, that'll be coming out. I'm actually editing it right now. It will be coming out this coming Monday, so look out for that.
And I would just want to add to that, I've been hard at work at editing a video of my own as well. Sean from Shot to Japanese Cinema, Nick from the Review Roulette Podcast, and Godzilla Gamer 77. We did a Legend of Zelda Top 10 countdown and discussion We delve deep into all of our picks to the best Zelda games of all time. I'm hard at work at it right now as we speak, but I plan on premiering it Saturday night, and it's going to be on YouTube and, of course, across all podcast platforms. I'm really happy with the results so far, and if you're a Zelda fan, we're trying to hit that E3 and Zelda algorithm this coming week. So yeah, keep on the lookout for that. But the plan is to premiere it Saturday, worst case scenario Sunday. But the Zelda top 10 discussion will be released in the coming days. I'm almost done with it. So that being, and of course, next week, if Giants fans are still here, Awthentik from Awthentik and the Beard will be here on NerdCage next week. We cannot wait to have him on. I'm excited to chop it up with him and talk music and stuff. He'll be here next week. The following week, we have 2 shows. We have a E3 reaction stream on Tuesday the 15th. The 17th, we're having the Pulp Fiction watch party with our friends over at Real Talk, a movie podcast. And of course, if you missed the trailer earlier today, Anthony Marquez, the original Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, is coming back on the 24th. So damn Skippy, we have a loaded June. So expect a lot of good streams and expect a lot of good content to drop in the month of June. Thank you to NerdCage Nation for all your support. Get us to 500 subs. We'll do a $50 Amazon card giveaway. Get us to 500 subscribers. We'll do another on-air giveaway, $50 Amazon gift card. That's all I got, man. Once again, Kush, thanks so much for taking time off your awesome trip to hang out with us again. It's been an absolute blast. We will have you back in July, just saying. And we're going to plan on doing
man, for sure, bro. I just got to say, shout out to you and Mark. You guys are amazing. You already know.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
I'm down to come back at any time. I will say that I literally have to dip as in leave the meeting right now because the computer's about to die.
Yep.
But once again, love you guys, and I'll see you in July. Keep me updated, man.
All right, let's go Giants. That being said, we please ask everybody here to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread that shit like silver. So I say from New York City to Syracuse, New York, to Louisville, Kentucky, to all of our friends and fans around the world at NerdCage Live. Enjoy life, stay safe, and good night.
Sayonara.
I just want to see you win. 5 seconds on the game clock. All your family all in the stands. I'm your #1 fan. 5 seconds on the game clock. Shoot your shot, it's going in. Yeah. I know she want to drive a Benz.
Yo, what up, man? It's Awthentik, man. One half of Awthentik and the Beard. Definitely looking forward to catching up with the homies Mark and Jay. We're going to be chopping it up, talking music, movies, podcasting, and everything Awthentik, man. So make sure y'all tune in. I'll catch y'all soon. Peace.
Does he look like a bitch?
Mark, can you believe we are closing in on our 1-year anniversary?
Man, it feels like it was literally a week ago when we started this thing.
So that being said,
we're going to do a watch party for one of my favorite movies, Pulp Fiction. And who better to do that with than our friends at Real Talk, a movie podcast. So joining us is going to be Gabe Conway, Wesley Jones, and Tommy Wood.
Be there, honey bunny. Thursday, June 17th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 Central.
Finish him. Kung Lao wins. Fatality. Flawless victory. Prepare to die.
Yes, this is J.St. G here, and yes, we are excited to welcome back Anthony Marquez, the original Kung Lao. Be sure to pick up his book, Kung Fu Rockstar. Links in the description below.
Ooh, trying to get out of the NerdCage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live! Ah!